Guys, said everyone else has given their 2 cents about this new wildcard round that we've been given for the AFL. I thought I'd give my 2 cents worth. So the AFL, in their infinite wisdom this year, announced that as of next year, they will be introducing a wildcard round in between where the preseason, where the finals bye is, between the finals and the end of the season. Basically, they're trying to keep the season alive. So this is the teams who would have played in that bye round that weekend. So the Gold Coast Suns would have played the Western Bulldogs at home, and Hawthorn would have played Sydney. Now, Sydney finished 10th, and they finished 10th, and they had 12 wins and 11 losses, and they finished on 48 points and a 97 percentage, right? Right? And they're going to play Hawthorn, who won 15 games and only lost 8. Now, that doesn't make sense. That's a losing record, right? Then you got the Western Bulldogs, who just missed out last year by literally 4 points. So they lost their last game of the year to Collingwood, I believe. I'll have a look. And it cost them a final spot. And they're going to play the Gold Coast Suns. That would be an interesting game. But Hawthorn versus Sydney, I'll tell you now, Hawthorn would have pumped them. So, if we go back and look at So the thing is that, hang on, I'll just have another look at the ladder for the men's competition. So Carlton and St Kilda are both way behind. So there's no way that St Kilda Carlton can catch the Sydney Swans, and there's no way that the Dogs are gonna either be playing a home final or going on the road, right? So I want you to remember what North Melbourne did in 2015. In 2015, North Melbourne rested about 9 to 10 players, and we went on to go and play in a preliminary final that year. And nearly made the grand final, missed by, I think it was less than a kick or something. And after that, the AFL then the next year decided to bring in the pre-finals bye, and then the Dogs go and win the final the next year. So we're just looking at this. This is so they're not going to bow out at all if I take 4 points off both of them. Right? So we're going to go to round 24, right, which is the last round of the year. Right? So Gold Coast Suns, they'll stay in the finals. Dogs lost their game. They get to play finals. Swans beat West Coast. Right? That's not a real good, pre-finals thing. They pumped West Coast by 67 points to give themselves a big percentage boost. And Hawthorn lost to Brisbane. And hang on, I forgot too. Gold Coast Suns actually had to replay a game. They had to play Essendon. So that's counted in too. But anyway, and that was on the Wednesday. So, if this happens again, what happened this year with the bloody cyclone, if they have another cyclone over in New South Wales in this stupid opening round that they've got, it'll stuff them anyway, because the Gold Coast Suns had to play that game on the Wednesday, and then they got to back it up again on the Saturday, again, like 3 days later, or on the Sunday, to play a wildcard round. I think it's a bit ridiculous. And both teams would have made it anyway, regardless of what the results were for this week. It doesn't matter. They would have made finals anyway. So you're now going to get another situation again where if teams know that they can't drop below the position on the ladder where they are, and they're still going to have a shot, they're going to start resting their players and their big key players so that they're right for the wild card round. So then you're going to have this thing of, they're rested players and this and that, and and all the 4 teams are going to do it, because if one person is doing it, everyone's doing it. So, it's just going to, then the AFL are going to be like, oh, well, now we have to bring in the bye round. So then they drag the season forward far, and then bring in the bye round, and then the wild card, and it's just going to be ridiculous. So what I suggest is just not do it. Leave it the way it is. Don't reward mediocrity. The Sydney Swans should not have been playing in the final series at all. It's ridiculous. The Dogs had good form going into that. So the Dogs had won 4 out of their last 5, and the Swans had won 3 out of their last 5. They lost on the run home. So round 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. So they lost in round 20, then they won 2 in a row, then lost, then won. And mind you, the last game they played against the West Coast Eagles and got a massive percentage booster, which, put them into the position where they were. And even the Gold Coast Suns, they weren't entirely accurate either. They played that extra game against Essendon. So I just think that this wildcard round is it's not needed. The rule changes as well that they've done is ridiculous. I mean, some of them are no-boners. I mean, making the ruckman jump again is a sensible one. But getting rid of the boundary throwing is ridiculous. I mean, you're taking away, an opportunity, to create something. If that happens, if someone kicks it out, bounces out of bounds, then, it's just ridiculous. I just don't like it. Basically, you might as well get rid of the boundary umpire then. Why do we have the boundary umpire? Oh, because we're going to throw it up in the forward 50. Why are we doing boundary throwings in the forward 50, but not anywhere else around the ground? Oh, we want to speed up the flow of the game. Oh, it takes too long for the ruckman to get to the contest. I'll tell you how you fix that. If the ruckmen are on the other side of the ground, don't even bother waiting for them to run over. You just grab the 2 tallest people that are there and say, we're going to throw it up now. Right? You get rid of the ruck nomination completely and piss that off. That's a joke. I mean, sometimes you'll see in a Carlton game, Patrick Cripps is in the bloody ruck. Now, any man who's got half a brain wouldn't put their star midfielder in the ruck. You can't do it. I don't know why. It's ridiculous. But, you got to get rid of the ruck nomination and just, the stand rule, that's fine. Like, they've fixed that now. If you're told to stand, you have to stand, which I thought they would have fixed that earlier. But anyway, they've also got rid of the sub again, which is ridiculous in itself, because now you're going to have the situation, and it's going to probably happen in the first week of the stupid opening round. A player gets concussed, and now they're down to rotation. And you're seeing on grand final day with Jeremy Cameron and and Geelong's inability to sub him off because they didn't know what to do. But Chris has been he has hated it. His entire coaching career, he doesn't like the sub. He reckons he hates it. He reckons it's a waste. But he refused to sub his star player who had a broken arm because he didn't want to lose the height or whatever. So the way around it is if you're the AFL, you just get your own doctor there and you make your own AFL make an assessment. And if they go, no, we think it's broken, we think the arm's broken, you have to now activate your sub, and you force that team to activate their sub. Because now if Jeremy Cameron continued to play that game and he's had, insignificant, injury to his arm, and it was a bad break, and he's continued to play and he's done more damage than needed, and now he has, later on in life, has like some sort of infection late in life or something, and he has to lose his hand, he could sue the AFL for and the Geelong Cats for mismanagement. I mean, it nearly happened with Christian Petrarca at Melbourne before he went to the Gold Coast. It's one of the reasons why he wanted to leave is because he got a punctured lung and they sent him back out on the ground. The coaching staff, the medical staff, didn't look after their player. And the AFL need to start giving a rat's ass about player safety and health and welfare over money. I think that, more worried about how it looks on TV and the flow of the game and all this stuff. Let's just, look after the players properly and get the game back to the way it was. Allowing the ruckman to jump, which is a good thing. And stopping they've also changed the rule with the shrug. Now if you lift your arm to shrug a tackle, it's classed as as prior. So that's gonna a lot of players are gonna get pinned more now. I think Jack Inovan's gonna have to really not try and obviously don't want to shrug it, but I would like to see them actually where the player actually comes up and they actually lift their arms. So they grab the ball and then they lift their arms like this, right, to get the ball high to try and get the high contact. I think that there's sort of ways around it, but I haven't seen it in practice yet, so I can't really complain. But yeah, this wildcard round is a bit. Some people like it, but I just think it's ridiculous. I think it's just something that we don't need. I think the AFL are trying to create more money, like trying to make more money and money and money and money. It's just like, there was nothing wrong with the finals in the 90s or the early 2000s or anything. Like in the 90s, like 97 and 98, Adelaide came from outside the top four twice to win back-to-back premierships. I mean, they pumped my mob in 98 to win the game, to win a premiership, and in 97, St Kilda's fans don't like it because they were leading at half-time, and in the second half, Jarman comes out and kicks 6 goals in the second half, and they win the game. So, I mean, you know, miracles happen sometimes. But I think that, you know, we just need to get back to, it's just the top 8 only. You make the 8, you make finals, and, you know, let's not reward mediocrity, you know. People, I don't like seeing people get participation medals for participating in like if it's in a marathon, fair enough to say you've done a marathon. But like giving kids participation medals because, you know, they competed in the 400 metres at the school athletics carnival. No. Like, come on. Like, what are we going to do next? What, we're going to get a runner-up medal for the Brownlow? You know, are the players on grand final day, are they going to get a runners-up medal for the grand final? They used to do that back in the 80s, and players used to throw them in the bin. So I think that it's just, you know, the AFL at the moment under this new regime is just far too woke, I think. Then they're just, you know, they're more about trying to you know, tell us how to do things and stuff. I think that they, you know, I think they should just get back to just, let's focus on making the best product possible, you know. So they've I think it's got a long way to go before it's back to where it was in the last school year. I think was probably 2016. Was probably the last school year of footy where you could actually stand and watch it. I watched the grand final this year, but I mean it's almost going to become, the game's going to almost become unwatchable. So I just think that that we need to sort of try and get it back to where it was 14, 13, around there, 2014, 2013. Get it back to that sort of style of football, if we can. But no, in the AFL, I think they're going to try and go and make it even, you know, make it even more TV friendly. But anyway, all right, thank you. Thanks for listening.